There is a voice that echoes through time, a voice not limited by clocks or calendars, a voice that speaks in the silence, in the storm, in the shaking. That voice has declared, "It is all planned." You may think today is just another date on the calendar. You may think June 9, 2025 is just another Monday. But I tell you, in the realm of heaven, this date has been ordained, etched not with ink, but with fire. This is no coincidence. God does not improvise. He does not guess. He plans. He appoints. He aligns. We live in a world of confusion, chaos, headlines, fear, shaking economies, trembling governments. But none of it surprises the throne of God. What looks random to man is prophetic alignment in the courts of heaven. Today I declare to you, what you are walking through has already been seen. God has not only seen it, He has designed it. You are not behind schedule. You are not lost. You are in the center of a mystery that's being revealed. The word of the Lord is this: my child, it is all planned. From your pain to your purpose, from your tears to your testimony, from your delay to your destiny. God sees the end from the beginning. He told Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Do you hear the echo in that? June 9th, 2025 is not the beginning of something. It is the unveiling of what has already been in place. In ancient times, kings would conceal scrolls containing their secret strategies. They would be opened at the appointed time. And the scroll of your life, your calling, your anointing, your battles, and your victories has been sealed until now. God is unrolling the scroll. The reason you've been attacked in this season is because something is about to be revealed in the next. The reason doors have been delayed is because the door that opens next is unlike any other. The reason people walked away is because they couldn't survive the unveiling of the scroll with you. You are not forgotten. You are positioned. Let me show you this mystery with the lives of those whom God called. Joseph was thrown into a pit, not because he was out of God's will, but because the pit was part of the plan. The prison was necessary for the palace. If he had avoided the betrayal, he would have missed the throne. The betrayal was planned. Esther thought she was an orphan. She thought her story was a mistake. But the date came, the moment arrived, and Mordecai told her, "You were born for such a time as this." That was not poetic, it was prophetic. And so with you, this time, this month, this year, it's not random. Even Jesus followed the appointed time. He did not rise on any day. He rose on the third day because it was already appointed in the scroll. Even his crucifixion aligned with the Passover. Nothing random, everything planned. And today, you are entering into a moment that was spoken before the foundations of the world. Now listen, when you realize that it's all planned, you must respond accordingly. Stop panicking and start discerning. What if the delay is divine? What if the rejection was redirection? Ask not why me, but what is being aligned? Step into the day with expectation. If heaven planned this moment, then walk like you're part of a prophecy. Sanctify the time. This isn't business as usual. Spend time in prayer, in the Word, in fasting. God doesn't reveal dates without purpose. Guard your surroundings. When the scroll opens, not everyone will celebrate. Jealousy, warfare, and distraction increase near the moment of fulfillment. Walk by faith, not by fear. You don't need to see the full picture. You just need to know the author of the picture is in control. Speak the promise. Declare the plan. Speak life. Speak victory. What you say today echoes into your tomorrow. You are in a divine setup, and setups often look like breakdowns before they reveal their true nature. June 9th, 2025, a date written in eternity. A date when heaven and earth shall align. A date when things hidden shall be revealed. A date when you shall remember that God has not forgotten you. Lift your head. The storm did not drown you. The fire did not consume you. The valley did not bury you. Why? Because God planned your survival. He planned your breakthrough. He planned your victory. This date is a gate into the next season, a gate into fulfillment, a gate into divine destiny. Walk through it. Don't hesitate. Don't look back. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into the appointed. God does not operate like man. He is not shaken by breaking news. He does not adjust his throne because of political shifts or global tremors. He does not react. He orchestrates. While men scramble for answers, heaven is unrolling a scroll that has already been written. What we panic over, God has already woven into his plan. What we call delays, he calls positioning. What we see as surprise, he declares as strategy. He is the composer of time, the architect of ages, the author who wrote the ending before the beginning began. We often misinterpret silence as absence and storms as setbacks. But if you look closer, if you tune your spirit and not just your senses, you will see divine fingerprints in what you once thought was random. The very moments you cried out, "God, where are you?" Those were the moments he was shifting heaven and earth to align your next step. The move you thought was sudden was already set in motion years before. The meeting that changed your life, the rejection that saved it, the opportunity that came out of nowhere, none of it was by chance. Heaven does not deal in chance. Heaven deals in covenant. And now we arrive at this moment, a date that seemed ordinary when the year began, a date that most would glance over, unaware that divine patterns are hiding in plain sight. June 9, 2025. A calendar date to man, but to God it is a prophetic hinge in time. It is not just another day, it is a marker, a turning, a page in the scroll now being opened. Every detail matters. The numbers matter. The alignment of events, the crossing of paths, the ending of one season and the sudden birth of another. These are not coincidences. These are blueprints from the throne. God has moved before by dates. He delivered his people from Egypt at the appointed time. He instructed Noah not only when to build the ark, but when to step into it. He orchestrated the exact time of Christ's death to align with Passover and his resurrection with first fruits. God works in patterns. He works in symbols. He works in cycles. And those who walk with him must not walk by assumption, but by discernment. June 9th is not a random selection on a calendar grid. For many, it will be the day where something hidden is revealed, where something delayed begins to move, where what was once opposed suddenly finds favor. For some, it will feel like a door you didn't knock on suddenly opened. For others, it will feel like a heavy fog suddenly lifted. What you couldn't understand for months will suddenly make sense. What you couldn't explain will now unfold. The pain will not only be healed, but it will now be understood. God's patterns are perfect, but they are rarely obvious. He hides glory in mystery, and he tests those who seek. This date is not magic, it is divine appointment. It is a moment when something shifts in the invisible realm that will echo in the natural. Some won't notice. Some will treat it like every other day. But for those who are watching, those who are praying, those who have been waiting with expectation, they will sense the tremble in the air. They will feel the alignment. They will know that this day carries weight. What has looked like a season of silence has only been the hush before heaven's command. What has looked like abandonment is the hand of God hiding you from the eyes of men until the fullness of time. And now the fullness draws near. It's not chaos, it's choreography. The heavens declare the glory of God. The stars do not shine where they wish, they shine where they're assigned. So does your life. So does your calling. So does this moment. Heaven has written June 9 into your story for a reason. Whether it is a release, a revelation, or a redirection, It will not be random. God is not late. He is not early. He is precise. Every breath, every step, every battle, it all has its appointed place. The trial was timed. The breakthrough is timed. And this date is part of that divine timing. Do not fear what is coming. Fear missing what God is doing. For the calendar of man submits to the timeline of the throne, and the throne has already declared. It is all planned. There are moments when everything looks like it's falling apart. The pieces don't fit. The timing feels off. The prayers go unanswered. The silence becomes louder than any voice around you. Chaos seems to rise like a flood. But what looks like disorder to man is often the hiding place of divine structure. God does not reveal his order to those who only walk by sight. His ways are not man's ways, and his timing rarely aligns with comfort. What we interpret as confusion, he calls construction. In the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. But from that very chaos, God spoke creation into being. The Spirit hovered over the waters, not in panic, but in power. The patterns of heaven are not always seen in the moment. They often come dressed in delay, in detours, in dust and disappointment. But that is how God conceals glory. He hides order in the midst of the storm. He plants the answer in the middle of the questions. His fingerprints are all over what feels like a mess. And when the time is right, when the appointed hour strikes, what once made no sense suddenly falls into place with divine precision. Chaos has always preceded creation. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, it looked like disaster. When he was sold into slavery, it looked like abandonment. When he was locked in a prison, it looked like defeat. But behind the chaos was a code. God was orchestrating order. He was preparing Egypt. He was aligning famine. He was positioning power. Everything that looked broken was building something sacred. The chaos was never chaos. It was divine alignment in disguise. And so it is with your life. You may not understand why certain doors closed, why the people you trusted turned, why the dream delayed, why the favor seemed to fade. But God is not finished. The storm hasn't silenced him. It's hiding him. Because when God conceals order, it is not to confuse you, it is to prepare you. What you feel is unraveling may be heaven's way of weaving something eternal. You are not lost in the shuffle of history. You are not a number among billions. You are not the product of accident, error, or fate. You are chosen, appointed, marked, destined. You are part of something larger than yourself, something ancient, something prophetic, something written before time began. There is a reason you are alive now. There is a reason you were not born in another century. There is a reason your voice, your gift, your battle, your testimony is placed in this generation. You are not standing on neutral ground. You are standing inside prophecy. Esther was not placed in the palace for comfort. She was positioned for collision, with purpose, with timing, with destiny. Mordecai's words still echo. Who knows if perhaps you were born for such a time as this? That question has become an answer. You were. It was not random. It was divine. Your very existence is a fulfillment of something God planned long before your first breath. Heaven did not choose you out of convenience. It chose you out of covenant. Every trial you've endured, every night you've wept, every moment you wanted to quit, it wasn't just suffering, it was shaping. It was preparing you for this time. The enemy has tried to silence your voice because he knows your voice carries weight. He's tried to derail your focus because your focus threatens his schemes. But what he doesn't realize is that the harder he presses, the more clearly you are being refined. You are not insignificant. You are strategic. You carry something inside you that matches the battle outside of you. That's why the warfare has been intense. That's why the resistance has been strong, because you were meant to shift atmospheres, to speak what others fear, to stand where others fall. The enemy fears those who know they are chosen, because when you know you were appointed, you stop living in fear and start walking in authority. This generation is not lost. It is in labor. And those whom God is awakening now are the ones he prepared in secret. You are part of that remnant. You are not here by default. You are here by design. The clock of heaven is ticking, and your time is now. The stage is being set. The heavens are aligning. The scroll is opening. And in the midst of what seems chaotic, your assignment is becoming clear. Not because the storm ceased, but because you learned to see the hand of God in the middle of it. Before every move of God, there is a wilderness. Not a lush garden, not a golden throne room. No, a wilderness. Dry places, isolated paths, hidden years. You will not always find prophecy in palaces. More often you find it in deserts, caves, prisons, and silence. This is the paradox of the prophetic season. It doesn't always feel prophetic. It often feels forgotten. But God does not anoint comfort. He anoints consecration. And consecration is born in the wilderness. The wilderness is not punishment. It is preparation. The silence is not abandonment. It is alignment. In the wilderness, your appetite is stripped. Your motives are tested. Your identity is refined. And your ears begin to hear differently. Not the noise of crowds, but the whisper of God. That whisper changes everything. It tells you who you are, apart from applause. It roots you in truth when nothing around you makes sense. Moses met God in the wilderness. Elijah heard the still small voice there. John the Baptist lived in it. And even the Son of God was led into it, not by Satan, but by the Spirit. Because the wilderness is God's classroom. There are things you learn in hiddenness that you cannot learn in the spotlight. There are victories you win in solitude that cannot be replicated in public. You may be walking through a season right now that feels barren, where the promises spoken over your life feel distant, delayed, and buried. But don't misinterpret the terrain. What looks like emptiness may be the very soil where purpose is being planted. What looks like a detour is often divine direction. The wilderness is not a detour. It is part of the design. God will not promote what has not been purified. He will not reveal what has not been refined. He will not release what has not first been tested. So if the testing has been intense, it is only because the calling is weighty. The deeper the wilderness, the greater the revelation that follows. And the moment is coming. The season will turn. The purpose will emerge. And you will know. This was never just survival. It was set up. And just before that purpose emerges, just before the clouds break and heaven speaks, comes the second wave, opposition. You can always sense you're near a breakthrough when all hell breaks loose. It is not random. The enemy is not omniscient, but he is observant. He can see signs in the spirit. He can hear the sounds of birthing. He can sense when heaven is about to act. And so he strikes, not because he sees you failing, but because he sees you standing. The warfare increases when the glory is near. The pressure increases when the purpose is close. The enemy sends confusion, fear, betrayal, exhaustion, anything he can find to stop what is being birthed. Because he knows once the manifestation comes, the chains he placed over your life will break for good. So, if you felt the intensity rise, if the battle has become more than you thought you could bear, you are closer than you realize. Before Jesus stepped into his public assignment, Satan met him in the wilderness. Before the cross, there was Gethsemane. Before Israel entered the promised land, there were giants. The enemy always shows up at the gates of destiny because he knows that once you step through, he loses ground forever. What you are facing now is not a sign of defeat. It's confirmation of your calling. The attacks are not proof you're off course. They're proof you're a threat. He doesn't fight those who pose no danger. He reserves his fiercest battles for those carrying the heaviest glory. And if he's fighting you hard, it's because something heaven-breathed is about to be revealed in you, through you, and around you. So don't retreat. Don't break. Don't let your voice go silent. Your very presence on the battlefield is prophecy in motion. You're still standing when the enemy said you wouldn't be. You're still worshiping when everything around you screams to give up. And heaven sees it. Heaven honors it. Heaven is responding to it. This season is not the end. It's the threshold. You are standing at the edge of something holy, something heavy, something that will shift not just your life, but the lives connected to you. The shaking is real, but so is the promise. The fire is fierce, but so is your faith. And the one who called you has not brought you this far to abandon you at the door. Hold fast. The enemy fights what he fears, and right now, he fears what's about to be released through you. Let me leave you with this. Every battle, every heartbreak, every silent night, it was not wasted. He kept the record. He saw the tears, and he scheduled the reward. The hourglass of heaven has turned. The scroll has been opened. The gate has been unlocked. Heaven is saying, what I began, I will finish. What I planted, I will harvest. What I spoke, I will fulfill. You, yes, you were born for this moment. Don't just survive this date. Awaken in it. Arise in it. Reign in it. For the Lord says, it is all planned